Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter, as we left off in the 7th, right, where Israel turned around and repented unto the Lord. Okay, and the Lord heard them, right, having set up Samuel over them to judge and to lead and to guide them in the right ways. And therefore the Lord gave us the upper hand over the Philistines, as it says, all the days of Samuel. So this is 1 Samuel 8:1. And it came to pass, when Samuel was old, that he, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned after lucre, which is money, and took bribes, and perverted judgment. And that also goes to show you that just because you're a prophet doesn't mean that your son or your descendants are going to be prophets, or just because you're a righteous man does not automatically mean that those of your offspring are also going to be righteous. Righteousness is not inherited through blood necessarily, right? It's in the spirit. And so, well, at least into the kingdom. But as it says here, so his sons, they were judges, but they were wicked, right? They were basically taking bribes and judging for hire, you could say, right? Like if there was a wicked a situation where somebody, the ruling should go against one, but that person was very rich and they paid them off, then they'd find a way to overturn that in that person's favor. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. So they came to inquire of a king. They saw how the other nations had a king or a ruler over them, and they said, we want to be like that. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. So it's not you being a bad judge, or for you that they're saying, oh, they want a king and so on. But really, it's me that they're rejecting and saying that, because we are supposed to be a theocracy, right? According to modern terms, ruled by God. But here Israel was saying, no, even though we already have a king, we want a carnal king. We want a king in the flesh, because the other nations that have him, they have the upper hand over us, and look at how they rule, and so we want that. Verse 8, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me, and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. So since basically, welcome to the club, right? Since I brought them from Egypt, the way they have forsaken me and they've served other gods, and they basically put me to the side, regardless of how good I was to them. Now you see what it's like, right, for them to come and say something like that to you. Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them. So listen, if that's what they want, fine, give it to them. But beforehand, warn them, give them a very serious warning concerning what it actually means to have a king and what that's going to be like, and shew them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. So this is basically the rules, you could say, of having a king. in that he would have this, he would have that, you would have to do this for him, and that's the manner. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord Yahweh unto the people that asked of him a king. And he said, This will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He would take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. So of your sons, basically you're gonna have to give up, your sons to serve the king, right? Some he's gonna put in his armies, right? Some are gonna be his horsemen. Some are gonna be like the those that run. Basically, they're like they play the role of heralds, right? To make the announcement, to clear the way before the king comes. Those are the ones that run before his chariots. And sometimes they would also play the role of like guards, but they will come of your people, of your sons and of your daughters. And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over fifties, right? He will have basically people in authority in how he governs you, and will set them to ear his ground. So of your sons, he's going to set workers. Earing the ground is like plowing the ground. So these would be the, he'll set up like personal husbandmen, right, of your sons, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries. When you look into that word confectionaries, it goes into basically like perfume making, and to be cooks and to be bakers. So basically of everything he would have need of, you have to provide, right? The labor and all of those things you got to give. So your sons, your daughters, those that he desires to be servants, that he, of him, you got to give them up. And that's basically it was highlighting a kind of authority that he would have over you. And he will take and that's good or bad. And he would take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. Right? So in the king desires this part of the land, or this or that. Verse 15, and he will take the 10th of your seed and of your vineyards, and give to his officers and to his servants. And he will take your men servants and your maid servants and your goodliest young men and your asses, and put them to his work. See? So basically you would have to provide him with these resources for his favor, for his doing, for the things he would have need of them. He would take the 10th of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And ye shall cry out in that day because of your king which ye have chosen you. And the Lord Yahweh will not hear you in that day. And this is to say, whether good or bad, whether oppressive or not, you're asking for a king, and this is what that means. So in the day, like when you get to the point where you're tired of this, or you feel like you're feeling oppressed and all that, and you cry to the Lord, he's not going to hear you, because this is what you asked for, and you were forewarned. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, Nay, but we will have a king over us. So yeah, I mean, regardless, we still want that king, that we also may be like the like the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. So like, I mean, you look at these nations, right? Look at the Philistines, look at the Amorites, look at the Moabites. They have a king, and then whenever they come to war against us, he's leading them, he's leading the charge and all that. We don't have anything like that. So we also want a king. Is that so bad? Is that so much to ask, Samuel? And Samuel heard all the words of the people and rehearsed them in the ears of the Lord. So basically, we went back to the Lord. He said, Lord, this is what they said in response to that. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, Go ye every man unto his city. So he said, all right, fine, I hear you. You want a king? A king you shall get. Now you may go. And that brings us to the end of 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rechak Kodesh. And until next time, Shalom.